Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation. We're bringing you guys here a game between Evil Geniuses and Alliance. This is the second game in the best of three series. A first game went the way of Alliance. They were able to take it down very, very nicely. Good, solid draft strategy, dominated the lanes effectively, and then controlled the mid game with usage of farming and the gyrocopter through Ancients, taking down Roshan and just pushing to win. It just didn't seem like things clicked for EG with their previous initiation Wombo combo lineup. There was a lot of Wombo, but not enough combo, and in that sense they were not able to take, I think, a single major fight. I think they took one fight with a little bit of turnaround, but they weren't convincing in any of their victories. So with that, they're coming on into this next one and are going to have to shape up a little bit, or they're going to be dropping down into the lower bracket very, very early on in the Premier League Season 5 Super Cup, the Playoff Cup, with the grand prize on the total, $15,000 between four different slots on the line here. Now we're going to see going on into the second game draft, we're going to see Darkseer and Leicester taken off the board by Alliance, now on the Radiant with a first pick available, and with that EG contemplating their final ban, taking out the Druid maybe? Who knows? Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. I myself am Blaze. Here's Triumphant Man. What's going on?
Yeah, last game, the problem was like that sort of south side of the map for the Dire side. It's very hard to breach. It's like one of the strongest defensive points in the game outside of your actual base itself, because you've got those two different tiers of high ground. You've got the little line of sight blocker as well on the ramp that has like its own special fog area, and on top of that, you've got towers you can TP to very quickly on both sides. So they've got a lot of easy ways to reinforce that, and to compound the problems further, that EG's picks, they weren't picks that could really roam and put pressure on that area anyway. They had the Shadow Demon, who needs help to go and gank anybody, the Bat Rider, who was busy top. They had then they also had the Enigma, who was also busy top as well. And they got their job done up top, but in the end, they just, like you mentioned, they could not shut down Lotus Farm, and he got so much out of those ancient stacks, and they couldn't pressure the Roshan pits either. They came in once, and then, I mean, the only reason they came out of that fight smiling was because, to be honest, Alliance overextended much further than they really needed to. They could have quite easily just taken the few kills they got and backed off and finished off Roshan, but they got way too aggressive, smelt blood, and went for it and ended up paying for it. But EG decided, you know what, let's ban out the Wisp, let's get rid of the Chen. Aki won't have access to that either, again, and we're going to have Nature's Prophet and Lone Druid picked up by EG. So,
Yeah.
Bulldog will probably, I guess, well, we've got Darkseer pick banned as well, so I'm guessing maybe we'll see either a Clockwork or possibly a Bounty Hunter. One of those two, I reckon.
If I was a Bulldog right here, I'd be like, what the bitch? Just like, you see the draft go through, the bans, it's like, oh, Syllabear time, and then they not only put in their first pick, take Lone Druid, but also the Nature's Prophet as well. It's like, what do you do? I guess Clockwork or something. Maybe he does like the Gondar a little bit, at least in matchmaking pubs. I'm sure he can bring it in to the competitive setting when they need it.
I think it's his third most played hero. After it goes for him, pretty sure, Lone Druid, Nature's Prophet, and then the Bounty Hunter in his list of heroes in competitive games. But we'll see what they got in mind for him.
Yeah, it's just like, it seems like it's just a blind side to him 100%. It's just like, yeah, we could ban out the Porphyrion because he's really good at that. We could ban out Syllabear because that's really frustrating to deal with. But we're just going to take them both, and we'll see how it works. Right now, Evil Geniuses, they're going to have to most likely run one in the jungle. It is possible to run one solo mid and the other in the off lane, but most likely we're going to see one jungle, and that's Alliance's opportunity to exploit the lanes a little bit. Keep it light to start, then can follow through with either Shadow Demon, Bane, or Rubik to make sure that they have just a very, very powerful tri-lane, and can go aggressive to put pressure on Evil Genius's carry of choice, which obviously isn't going to be the cancel answer in this case because it does get banned out, considering Alliance has already picked up Azalur. And now, kind of back and forth, Evil Geniuses, they have to have push in mind. I mean, you get the Demolish Passer from the Bear at 7, you get Prophet's potential to be all over the map, putting a lot of pressure onto towers. I'm assuming they're just going to kind of follow through with that, maybe a Leshrac, maybe a Juggernaut, I don't know, something along those lines.
I feel like Alliance, their next few picks should be something to punish split pushing, because Nature's Prophet and Lone Druid have plenty of push power, but of course you have Keep It Light. It's hard to 5-man push against because Illuminate spams are just really, really painful. So one of the easiest ways to deal with that, of course, is just to split up and just counter push, like, and just basically, make sure you hit multiple targets at once, because he can only beat so many places at once. But if you pick up a few heroes, Storm Spirit, Clockwork, any hero that can sort of jump and just punish Nature's Prophet every time he tries to push alone, that's a really, really solid choice to go with. EG, though, also going to ban the Naga, so wow, they are really worried about some of those more annoying hard carries to play against. I've got to say, Nagasar and Phantom Lance are probably one of the more anti-fun heroes out there, short of anti-fun himself. I think OD is the other one who's just really obnoxious as well. But considering last cup we saw, like, he was picked like, what, 4 or 5 times and lost like every single game? It just came down to team said, all right, well, you win the mid lane, but we'll just beat you everywhere else. And that worked out pretty well for them. EG now with their third pick. We've also got Visage and Nyx being banned up by Alliance as well. I think it's a solid choice. If you're going to split up and try and do a lot of split pushing, and they're not playing to pick Nyx, then, as well as the fact that they're going into the second pick phase here, of course, where they don't have the first pick. I think this is smart because if EG force lots of different split pushing, Nyx has the option to run wild in between the different areas and just unexpectedly reinforce and gank people who try and counter gank them.
Yeah. Along with that, Visage and Nyx are pretty much the go-to counter picks against a Keeper of Light aggressive trial lane. If you want to survive, you can either tank the Illuminate and Soul Assumption back at them, or you can Carapace it. And either way, it's going to dissuade the Coddle from continuing to blast after blast, and so they're going to be able to deal with that appropriately. I'm kind of surprised Evil Geniuses with this pick here didn't go for the Shadow Demon, instead went with the Rubik. They fill a very similar role in laning. When it comes down to the fights, I kind of feel a defensive disruption would have done a little bit more for them here. Either way, they're going to be switching it over to the Rubik, and that is still a hero that they can play very, very effectively, and it does pincer an alliance where they cannot go for those gigantic, super powerful ultimates. I mean, even picking up an OD is less likely because of the fact that there's just so many great spells to steal for Rubik there. So, yeah, playing into that, they will be able to lane the Rubik in the safe lane tri lane, but as I was saying, Nature Prophet, Lone Druid, one of them going to go in the off lane, the other in the jungle, and then Alliance are... I don't know, the Batrider could go mid, could go solo safe lane. Either way, actually I have seen an aggressive tri-lane Batrider as well, and that can be very effective under the right circumstances. So the big thing about Alliance right now, their lineup has to be about pressure and making sure that the Money Prophet doesn't just keep on getting the opportunity to holla, and get dollar all game long. So we're going to see next pick, 20 seconds left, burning through reserve time pretty hard here. They need something with pressure, and Lena's going to be the hero of choice. But that means they need a little bit of setup, maybe a CK. I'm not sure. They need something that will slow or stun in order to set up the Lina and the Keeper of Light, because both of them are heroes that by themselves, just throwing out spells, they can land them, but it's less likely without any aid. So yeah, either they're going to go with the Napalm to fit the bill there, or they're going to find one more hero to add in another initiating disable.
I should also mention for Alliance with their Lena pick, this is the Luxembourg server, I think, this time around. So obviously playing Lena on that's going to be much easier. She has like a really, really obnoxious attack animation. It's like, I think, one of the longest in the game. So the one up is like 0.7 seconds or something. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And of course, she's got like 0.85 seconds. She's got a 0.45 cast time and then like a 0.5 second delay. So it's what, nearly 1 second, just short of 1 second that she has to aim ahead for her stun. I feel like the Rubik is a solid choice over the Shadow Demon here, just going back to the point you made earlier, just because with Lone Druid and Nature's Prophet as the first choice, like, Shadow Demon is a hero who needs follow-up to. Like, he sets up, but then he needs follow-up. Sure. So, in this case, with Nature's Prophet and Lone Druid, not a lot of follow-up, and especially if they want to pick something like Beastmaster. Again, not really the best sort of follow-up, not something that synergizes fantastically with Shadow Demon. Like, you want stuff like, you want to be following up stuff like Light Strike Away, Split Earth, Queen of Pain jumping in and nuking everything and just working off the damage amp, whereas Beastmaster doesn't really bring that so much. But what he does have, of course, is plenty of push potential, of course, and scouting. This is the other really good thing. If you're pushing, you really want to be able to watch your blind spots, and this allows them to sort of better decide whether they want to commit forces or back out. So if they, say, Beastmaster, Rubik, and Lone Druid push in, and then the Hawk scouts through the jungle, and says, oh look, there's 3 more heroes coming at us trying to stop us. A, they can back off. B, they can say, you're right, Nature's Prophet, get stuck in on the opposite side of the map. You don't have to worry about getting counter-ganked right now. You can just go to town on that tower. So I think this is a really solid pick for them. And of course, the Inner Beast aura is always fantastic when you're spamming minions. Obviously the bear, the little trance, really, really good stuff there as well. And Alchemist being picked up. So you mentioned, Blaze, that they needed a stun. Well, they've got one. Here it is.
Yeah, but won't get too much charge time as far as I could tell with the early game, but generally speaking, they only need maybe charge up for 2 seconds, throw it on out there, and that's going to be plenty of time for the Illuminate and the Light Strike Array to come on through. So a huge amount of magical damage, a little bit of composite as well, but the big thing is putting pressure on Rubik early so that he can't get points in Nullfield. Nullfield is, and maybe Pipe subsequently for a Beastmaster, will be really, really instrumental when it comes down to either trying to siege high ground against Dragon Slave and Illuminate, or just hold the line in the midst of a big engagement. So I really think the magic damage flying out has to be mitigated somehow, and in my mind that would mean Beastmaster picking up a pipe as a secondary core item, and Rubik getting as many levels as possible, which will be easier said than done considering the fact that the pull camp on the top lane is probably going to be warded up very actively, or at least contested and controlled immediately when it comes down to level 1, because Alliance are not really going to rest on their laurels. I mean, they could technically, but they have all the opportunity in the world to go put pressure out up on top and really make things work for them nicely.
Okay, so final pick here for EG. Dragonite, the final. It looks like they're a little bit worried, actually, that with the Dragonite being banned out. I think they're actually worried that it might actually be an S4 mid-Alchemist or something. And whoa, okay, Lycan, wow, they want to push. And I think this is possibly, I think this is a solid choice. Like, this gives them so much split push potential. Secondly, again, we mentioned the dire advantage for the Roshan pit. They have got a chance to control that, although less so, because I think that, like, I think here they're going to try and use the, basically, Lycan will basically go, look, I'm trying to do Roche, and try and force a reaction from Alliance, and that will open up room to push towers. I don't think they can sneak Roshan easily early on because they don't have the ability to fight. With Nature's Prophet, Lone Druid, they both take time to get rolling. Rubik doesn't have his own tons of burst damage on his own. Beastmaster, again, is strong, but he doesn't have huge AoE, so it's not like a Queen of Pain who could, with the right... Wow. Okay, so that might actually be a Bulldog Batrider. It's going to be Alchemist being played by Loda most likely, and this looks like an S4 mid Timbersaw, which means it's going to hurt. I mean, he's... Oh, that's... Well, all right, let's
actually,
see.
I don't know.
Could be against Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's one big thing, is going in and just try... I mean, even if it's not against Prophet in the lane, it's going to be against Prophet in the mid game. The big thing here is Prophet, he really doesn't have any great tools of escape when you can disable him as frequently as Alliance's lineup can, and when you can cut down his tree so that he cannot even block passages. And Timbersaw, he hates trees a little bit, so I would say that he's going to be able to maneuver around and kind of screw Bambo over, and Bambo's Prophet is pretty legendary, but might have a hard time this game. I want to point out, as far as the Lycan pickup, the one big thing is going to be Howl. When Lycan hits like level 9 or higher, he's going to be able to put out a lot of physical damage by increasing that of Prophet, Lone Druid, and Beastmaster. Every single one of them have great summons. I think you can have like, what, 11 total? 8? Yeah, about that much. And yeah, that stacks up pretty hard as far as that plus damage bonus to those summon units, and maybe even throw a Necrobook on top of that. Just a lot of potential there in the lineup. As far as lanes, we'll have to wait and see, though we do see Basilius already up on Lycan. As far as the lineups go, though, let's looking over at Alliance. You see S4 is the one to pick up the Timbersaw. We're going to have Ake on the Keeper of the Light. EGM is going to be running Lina here. And along with that, Loda is running the Alchemist. Batrider already starting with the Firefly Vision to try to scout out the Roche. They were worried about a level 1 Roche attempt. Not going to be an issue anymore, as Bulldog is keeping that under wraps. Going back over to the Evil Geniuses lineup, though, you want to cover that?
Yeah, just bring up EG's lineup here. We've got Fear playing the Lone Druid, Jo on the Beastmaster Demon, on the Lycan, and Bambo on Nature's Prophet. Beat is rounding out the support there on Rubik. And this is going to be a bit of a rough game. Like, he's going to be doing pretty much all the hard support. And you mentioned the fact that they want to give him a few levels. I don't think they're going to have the opportunity. Like, this is, I think, another problem with this lineup is if we see a lot of activity from Lina and Keep It Light, because they could quite easily rotate away from their lane, I feel. They could quite easily leave Alchemist alone, because he should be able to handle himself in his lane. Actually, unless they're planning... wait a minute, what are EG doing here?
They're trying to go for First Blood or First Roche, whatever they can get, but EGM is kind of camping, at least for the moment. They're going to break the smoke very, very early on. If they go on out, take a few steps on out... Actually, wait, that's Dire's Ward, so Radiant aren't going to get whiff of this for quite some time, and that's going to be maybe enough to close in on EGM, which they have full vision of. Right here, the Lina on the high ground. They see her walking away. They're going to go in for the Roche now. It's what this is all about. Tanking up hard with the Wolves, with the Bear, even with the Treants. They're just trying to make it work as much as possible. They have the Basilius. I'm not sure if they have a headdress, but looks like just the Bassi and a heck of a lot of regen. They're going to go for this Roche very early on, but the ping comes out. EGM is on his way, has a great Light Strike array. Sees now the Treants heading on out to try to... prevent the action.
They must have figured, because they're just going, hey, wait a minute, none of these lanes have people in them. All these lanes are empty. What the hell is going on? But there's a First Blood.
And that might be enough to secure the Roshan. Like, EGM cannot get back out to the fight anytime soon. Going to try to go for an Illuminate. Jo is going to drop low, but I think they still might be able to do this.
Keeper's out of mana. Like, he's not going to have enough mana to do this. Oh, no, they've decided it's not worth risking. I think they've also decided, this is taking so damn long. Here's a problem. Sure, they got their first blood there, but now we have a level 2 S4 in the mid lane. This could be problematic for them. Everybody on the Dire side level 1 now. This may have been a serious mistake. Oh, wow, Jo takes a big hit there. Pure damage coming out from that whirling death. As it looks like Fear now going to try and land some auto attack hits. Where's his Baron? No, I've lost track of his Baron. In fact, it might even be dead. Or no, I think it's going back to heal. But S4 now going to keep putting pressure on them.
Yeah.
Although he's actually going to be forced to back off 3v1, so this is too much damage, and he does have reactive armor up and running though. We'll pop a healing salve though.
Impressive durability with the stout shield plus reactive armor. That combined together really just can keep on going and going and going. Even 3 heroes trying to right click him down, just really no hope, especially without an orb of venom. But yeah,
let's discuss the level right now. Everybody is level 1 versus level 3 Timbersaw, level 3 Batrider, and you've just come to your lane. This is bad.
Yeah.
I think it's an understatement.
Definitely not how you want it to start off. Here, of course, Fear is going to have an okay time up top with B-Diz pulling and with them safely under the tier 1. But beyond that, the other lanes are going to be quite rough. I mean, S4 able to go in and dive as deep as he wants to. Loda already starting off by maxing Grievel's Greed. They're going defensive so he can get as much farm as possible. And will probably rush up a Midas considering his starting items. So in a great position to do so. They're not really too concerned. Demon got off to a little slow start because he did go for the Basilius and no stout shield or anything like that. And the reason they couldn't go Roche is because he had already burned through his 2 sets of wolves. So he tried and tried and tried, but you only have 2 summons to work with there, and yeah, he's not going to be able to commit to that kind of perspective. Now Jo is going to bottle crow it up. They get the flying itsy bitsy going on through. He's going to be able to provide sustained regen for Beastmaster, but yeah, in general that just means that EG have a lot of ground to make up.
I'm gonna say as soon as Loda gets his Alchemist, as soon as Loda gets his Midas on his Alchemist, they should move the supports. They should move EG, EGM, and Aki away from this role in the forest, or maybe even just one of them. Let Aki focus on pulling, and just go, you know what? Let's start putting pressure on the lone druid. Let's start putting pressure on the jungle. Because now with these nerfs to the wolves, he has to help them tank a bit, especially if he gets some of the rougher camps here, like the Centaur Conqueror. This is going to really mess up both him and his wolves. So if you even have the level 1 Lina roaming around, if you're just piercing him off, killing his wolves, even that just sets him back so hard. And they don't really Loda does not need help. He's got his Midas recipe, he needs 10 gold, and he's got his Midas. He doesn't need help. He's up against a level 1 prophet, a level 2 prophet, who practically cannot come near him. And they've got all these stacks here as well. I feel like they can just go, you know what, let's just make sure everybody else on EG's side stays behind, because if Loda gets off to a good start, they're in a really, really strong position, especially if Lycan never even gets a chance to snowball. Same for Syllabear. If they keep them suppressed, it's going to be so hard for EG to make that 25 to 30 minute push that their lineup's built for.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, just looking at Demon, he has to go all the way back to base. He doesn't have any way to tank things up effectively. I mean, you might be able to go in for boots towards Tranquils or something along those lines. No, he picks up the Stout Shield retroactively. So, yeah, he's going to go on in. He will be able to do fine in the jungle now that he has the Quelling Blade Stout Shield, but we're 4.5 minutes in, and he's sitting very, very low on experience per minute, considering Lycan used to be one of the fastest jungle heroes on the map, and now just has so many limitations. But at least for right now, we do not see rotation from supports. We just see stacking. EGM and Ake, of course, having a lot of potential to burn through these in an AoE. They're going to go ahead and just do the Chinese-style AoE support farming with Illuminates, Dragon Slays, all that good stuff. And they're going to be able to burn down through these triple stacks with relative ease.
This is a serious, EG's lineup at the moment, because they're so hungry on the jungle. You got Beatties here who needs to do a bit of jungling himself. You've got Lycan, who obviously needs plenty of time in the jungle. Bambo just cannot find room. He's stuck doing this. So often you'll see the Nature's Prophet, when they get into a bad position, they say, screw this, just go in jungle. And in this case, he's not even managed to sort of screw around with the supports. When we see KSI do this, how he spends so successfully, he wastes supports time so heavily, he hasn't managed to achieve this. And like you mentioned, they've got all these stacks to work with. Now, Lena's level 2, got some gold out of that. Keeper of the Light is up to level 3, so they're looking really strong. Whereas Bambo has pretty much achieved nothing. Hopefully, he can get a recovery Midas and get back on track in the mid-game, but this is a problem. They want to, EG want to be super aggressive in that mid-game, and I don't think they're going to have that option. And without this pressure, I mean, the other thing, of course, is S4 is kind of going to get out of control too, and he's going to have a lot of position. He's level 6, so if he wanted to, he could invade the jungle right now and put so much pressure on Lycan, who doesn't have his ult available.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be able to rotate and put pressure out very hardcore. Kind of delaying it right now. The Benefit of that is they can put a lot of damage into the tier 1 bottom. Right now, Bambo doesn't have all that much for counter pushing. He can pull the creep wave back with the Treants, but that's about it. And meanwhile, just everybody on Alliance getting so much cash. I mean, we see actually a huge advantage in gold, moving in towards 3,000 already, only 6 minutes into the game. I mean, that's an amazing advantage right there. Like 500 a minute is just ridiculous as far as team-wide gold advancement. Might be able to get a kill with the Light Striker to come on out. There's going to be a big unstable concoction, enough damage to finish off Bambo, and Loda's going to be the one to take out that last hit there. So moving on forward, he already has his phase Midas, and he's going to be able to go towards Lothars at such a great rate. Yeah, just really, really good play overall, though we do see Admiral Bulldog getting picked up on the top lane there. I'm assuming a root was involved with that Orb of Venom Bear. But one way or another, they can afford that loss because they're winning so effectively in every other lane.
Yeah, we look at the 44 and 10. Look at the 44 and 10 Timbersaw. There's just no real way that JO can stand up to it. Every time he comes close, it's just whirling death in the face. Like, so S4 hasn't even bothered leveling the Timber Chain, which I think is just fine. Like, he does not need this at all in the mid lane, just because there's no real option for him to grapple with the trees anyway. So it's going to be completely useless. And especially against a melee hero, you want to max. You want to max that whirling death as quickly as possible, and even having the extra level in the reactive armor is really good too, because he gets stuck in close, he tracks creep aggro, picks up stacks, pisses off the creep, pisses off JO like that, like just jumps in, throws his ult and uses one nuke and he has to back off. Yeah. He's getting slammed by that.
Exactly, and of course it does reduce strength as well, so against Beastmaster in particular, it's a huge nuke of damage. Very, very difficult to go up against. I would say that probably you want to do the damage first and then use your ulti second, because of course it does do extra slow in that regard, but even so, we don't need to give him tips on zoning. He's doing a marvelous job here. Beastmaster has been able to find his level 7, but as far as CS goes, it's mostly Axe Gold, so in that regard, he's not going to be able to find much right now, just Magic Wand and Boots, and he's going to need a lot more if he's going to be able to stay active, dive as deep as he wants to, and just be mobile across the map, make an impact there, because right now, even if the status quo remains the same, Alliance have a lot going for them. Yeah, I'm just looking at Bambo now, still stuck at level 3, not faring well at all. In fact, Loda might even try and dive in against him here. He could quite easily, like, if he traps Bambo where he is right now, Bambo is so dead. No question about it. He should also mention that, yeah, he didn't actually max Greevil's Greed. He got 3 levels in it and has actually decided to max out Unstable Concoction, I think, by level 7 instead, which gives him plenty of killing power too. Especially since, I mean, the start that he's off to, he doesn't even need max Greevil's Greed. With a 4-minute Midas, you don't, like, 2 levels is already going to put you at an insane farm. Now, Fear up the top lane just going to put some hits into that tower, but unfortunately for him, Bulldog rather has managed to successfully drag off the creep wave, get its aggro there. JO on the other hand, smoking up and heading top. They're going to try and just pick on Bulldog. So you know what, we need some easy kills here, and it looks like Bulldog is their target of choice. And with that smoke, if he comes up behind him with a Raw, I think he's pretty dead, Blaze. Yeah, unfortunately for Bulldog in this position, there's nothing to spend unreliable gold on, so if you get roared up, you know you're dead, but there's nothing you can do about it. You have to save for Blink Dagger, so going to be a pretty big loss if they can actually get in for the roar, but Bulldog, the creep wave, still in a position where they're fine, and they know that JO's missing by now. Still coming in, the telekinesis will set up the roar here. This should be a pretty effective kill. Doing a lot of damage. There's the axes, there's the right clicks. They finish it off and transition it into a push. Bambo can't get too much on bottom. Fine by him. He rotates up top with the Treants, and they're going to be able to bring this down. Howl not skilled yet, so that's not going to help them out here, but S4 coming on in, trying to go in. He gets entangled up. Can't go for the Timber Chain. Instead, just going to be forced back. So, unfortunately, cannot finish off Bambo, but at least alleviates the push, and the Tier 1 tower still stands, at least for the moment, which might be more that you can say for the bottom, where EGM and Loda are just tearing it up. That bear got 2 of the dumbest, luckiest roots that it could have asked for. I'm going to actually say that Bulldog probably would have lived there. Had that bear not procced that, like, it procced the root immediately after the roar had finished off. Had that not happened, Bambo could, like, he was right next to the high ground. He just slipped up there and then buggered off because they don't have a bird to spot for him. Because Beastmaster doesn't have any levels in his animal companions. So he could have got out of that quite easy. And secondly, when Timbersaw was like seconds away from slaughtering everybody, but the bear procced the roots. It completely messed it up. Like, you saw Nature's Prophet backing away low health, Beastmaster backing away low health. They would have been so freaking dead. Except away. Although Lycan, speaking of dead, Lycan finds the kill with the help of Nature's Prophet. Lena gets picked off there. Quote unquote help. Kill secured, as I would say. Bambo comes on in, sends him one little right click when hasted Lycan could have just chopped him on down. But, you know, now Demon comes in with the double damage. Looks to Roche immediately. They have the Wolves, they have the Treants. Could go in with a lot of right click damage here now that he has Vladimir's offering. That couldn't have been a better rune for him in this state, but We'll see if Alliance gets wind of it quickly enough. I mean, yeah, they did just see the Lycan. It's been 11 minutes. You should assume that he probably has the Vladimirs. They're probably going to check it here out with the ultimate. Yeah, here comes the Chakra. They see exactly what's going on, and they're not going to let anything like that happen that we do see up top. Bulldog going to go for a lasso, trying to bring down Fear quickly as S4 TP's on up there, but he actually gets shredded by Beataz's Chakram. Great steal from him, and now we see S4 trying to get cleans up some kills, and now he's going to go for one more Chakra versus Chakra action, but Telekinesis might be enough to force him back. So yeah, they are going to be able to bring down the Lone Druid, Bear on CD for only 18 more seconds, but they only trade for the Batrider here, who is still pretty far off that Blink Dagger.
I can see that Chakram's getting pretty confusing later in the game, but now down towards Roshan Pit again. They've decided to chase off Demon, making sure he can't get stuck in there. JR also moving down to help out Bambo. It's a bit of a 3-on-3 here. Both that said, Alliance are very heavily split up. I don't know if they can get in here. They're gonna have Demon running in and out. I just don't know how long they can keep this up for. How long they can keep trying to chase him away for. Aki, of course, this is, I suppose, going to help a lot. The fact they have Keeper Light, who does have a considerable amount of points invested in his Illuminate, can very heavily scare Demon. Like, if he gets hit even once or twice by a fully charged Illuminate, that's going to really mess up his day and make him back off from that pit very quickly. On the other hand, this is wasting a lot of time for Aki, having to stand around and do this all the time, and also makes him quite vulnerable. Like, he could quite easily be picked off by a Roar from a distance, or like Nature's Prophet could jump in behind him. This he does need to be careful about. Especially when he's doing this alone. This is fairly dangerous for him.
Yeah.
Fortunately, though, nobody coming to pick on him, and it looks like Lycan's just given up on it for now.
Yeah, not going to be his opportunity. He has Medallion, he has Vlads, he literally has everything he needs, but he should probably smoke on it, and we actually do see action going on up top. Bulldog's lasso expires, but it's enough to bring down the Lone Druid. Beat it's coming in with a lot of Chakra damage, but it's not going to be enough. It might be enough. With the Fable coming across, no. So no, he does live. He does get dropped down. Jo, of course, helping out with the axes. As for pursuing after Beataz, can't find the opportunity, though. It's going to be EGM to clean it up here. So they do get a double kill for EGM, bringing down both the Beastmaster and the Rubik very easily.
S4 just going to clean up another creep wave there. Bambo can't really jump in on these fights. He's still looking to finish off that Midas, that recovery. Midas looking to come in at about the 14-minute mark at the moment. On the other hand, Demon's still quite happily farming these Ancients, just making use of the fact that he's not being, like, this area of the map isn't under any pressure at all for the moment. Although, arguably, because we have Keeper Light, he could actually just stand here and just fire shots up there all day long, just to really, if he really wants to dick with Demon, he could do that. But I don't think they know what's going on at the moment, and so it looks like S4 just going to push the tier 1 top and get away with that, and Loader sitting in the mid. I guess this is the other story, of course. Loader is 93 and 19 with Greeble's Greed, has not been under any pressure, or 1,700 in the bank. In fact, he actually just bought something as well. So 1,500, no money in the bank. What did he spend it up on? I think it's on the Courier.
It's going to go AC.
Coming out now. Wow, yes, AC on the way.
Yeah, and I mean, he's already got the Lothar. Surprised he hasn't used it yet, but I mean, all the initiation potential in the world. I mean, he essentially has a Beastmaster Roar up his sleeve because of how powerful Sable Concoction can be when you brew it to its fullest, and Lothar's is what allows him to get in position to do that. Now, EGM actually in a very aggressive position, but still landing Light Strike Array, getting the Laguna off, and that should be enough to bring down Fear. A couple more right clicks. There's that Flame Break, and yeah, he's going to get dropped down here. EGM taking quite a bit of damage, but he's going to be able to fall back. Here's that damage coming out from Loda, dropping off the Roar, dropping off that Acid Spray, napalmed up. Jo should be dropped down here. He is going to get the Roar out. He is going to get the Magic Wand, trying to bottle on through. It might be enough here. Yes, he does survive the Illuminate, though, along with the Flame Break, enough to bring him on down. So they do get 2 kills for their trouble. And that was a recent resummon from Lone Druid. He's not going to have his resummon on Bear for about 55 seconds after respawn, and that is a very considerable loss for him. Demon down on bottom, split pushing it up, but S4 is here to clean it on up.
Load is going to clean up that weak middle tower, finish it off. Demon now are going to try and jungle. This is like dangerous for Demon. Now the fact they know there's a Lothars on the Alchemist, like, they really need to be careful, like, either doing this or this. This fact, having this ward here, these 2 wards, not only is it good for trying to get map control back, but the main point is just covering this area with vision, so, and especially also detection, so Demon can actually use the Ancient safely. Although, I use the term safely loosely because, of course, I can just wrap around from the other side as well if they want to go after him. That, my mouse is stuck, there we go. No, it's still drawing on the map. Alright, so yeah, like you mentioned, Fear though, he says, yeah, well, you know, I don't have a resummon, but I'll just go to Bear mode and beat up Creep anyway. He's with a Creep, he just can't jungle for the moment, but as it is, Bambo is busy trying to monopolize the jungle anyway, so no big loss in the end. We'll just clean up a few last hits in there. And, of course, the recovery minus, he did just pick that up around the 14.5-minute mark. So he's going to try and get back on track. But here's the problem. Wow. Wow, Bloodstone done.
Wow, down bottom, EGM, Jukes of the Century, running around in circles, a giant wolf at his heels, but he's able to keep his cool, maneuver on out of the trees, and forces a TP in from Bambo, as well as a movement from Jo. They can't even get vision of him before the TP comes on out. Really smooth move from EGM. Almost every other support would just be completely dead in the water. There's no way to get out of that situation, but really, really nice maneuvers. EGM keeps his life, walks away, and gets pretty tanky with Power Treads, Bracer, and Magic Wand together.
Wait, how did they not see him with the Hawk? Was the Hawk not
No,
down?
the Beastmaster had just gotten there. Threw out his axes, but that's about it.
I was going to say, the Hawk, surely they would have seen him. Never mind. Keep it alight, though. Has picked up just some little items there. And there we go. They know something's up, of course. These wards here spotting up exactly what's going on. Saw them move in, and here we go. They're going to move in, but they don't have detection. They will manage to finish off Roshan just in time. It was picked up by Larkin. Jo, though, dragged on the high ground by Bulldog, and he's not stuck, though. They managed to get free, but they will not lose anybody just yet. That said, S4 is giving chase. Beaters now could be in trouble. Dodges, though. Does he go for a steal here? At the moment, he's got Lasso. Gets cleaned up by Whirling Death. However, in the meantime, they do lose Aki. Aki gets cleaned off. And we'll see a TP out of here as I think it was Lena just went back to base there. S4 jumps through, throws at the chakra, misses. Reactive armor stacking up, not quite max yet. Bambo now in some serious trouble. He's got an angle there on the trees. He's going to move in. No, he decides to disengage. No, there we go. Dives back in again. Chakra once again. Bambo dodges. He's going to move in. Whirling Death coming up. No.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, my god. Bambo dodging left, dodging right. And it looks like he will actually get away here. Chakram in once again. Jero now moving chased. And we haven't seen any roots from this bear. This bear is just not procking. And we're going to have the mech being procced there. There's the roots procking now. S4 looking for a chain. Can't get away. No, he will. Jumps across yet again. With this Bloodstone, he can just do whatever the hell he wants right now. He's up to 9 charges too. And he will just teleport. He's had enough. He's teleporting home. But my god, Bambo, talking about some jukes. I just heard... Did I just hear Lycan die?
Yeah, Lycan did die up to 2 people. There's pretty much 2 very, very, very yakety-sack extended chase sequences going on. Actually, Dusk's going to come out and Lotus might be enough to bring him down. No, the roots do not connect, or the Sprout does not connect. With that, Lotus can just waltz on out of there. But yeah, it was a kind of a pincer in. I believe Alchemist and Lena were the 2 to actually bear. Ashkel, what is EGM doing? Speaking of, he almost gets a bear kill, but pays for it with his life, and the bear walks away with 40. So now coming on in, Demon does not have that Aegis, does have his ulti, but doesn't get a chance to use it with S4 doing so much damage in the duration of that unstable concoction. So he gets cleaned up nicely. Now they're going to be able to counter push on mid with the Illuminate, and I think they can still hold the line on this tier 1. Enough heroes are coming in to support it. And here is S4 once again. So much mana, so much durability. You just don't fuck with this guy. He has unlimited potential, but there is going to be Chakra Magic slowing him on down, and it looks like he will not be able to finish off Jo, just forcing them back for the time being. But yeah, as a whole, S4 doing so much work, but nothing connects. Bambo, I feel like there were 2 sequences where he should have hit Bambo, but just slightly off the mark, and very unfortunate. But yeah,
Wait, is this seriously the first time Timberstorm has picked up a Bloodstone in competitive Dota?
Apparently it's the first one successful enough to do so. Of course, a very core item on the hero, but I can understand if he's not successful in farm. But, yeah,
okay.
Definitely the first time in TPL, if nothing else.
Well, yeah, I think it's the first time we've even seen him in TPL, so there you go.
No. Absolute Legends, now Flipside Tactics, did pick him up. It was kind of a joke game, but did actually do quite a bit of work with him, though I didn't know if he...
Was this season 4?
Season 4, yeah.
Okay, I was going to say... Yeah, I mean this season, but yeah. Smoke Gank though, EG gonna try and get a kill here on S4. I just don't know if they've got the lockdown. Like they've got the level 2 Roar. The level 2 Roar is up in operation. I don't think they've got the Bursto to kill him in that amount of time, unless they get some really obnoxious roots. Like he's just literally just gonna, wow, you don't want to summon that there. Now with the Light Strike Array comes in there. Lena is here as well. Throws at the Guna Blade there on Bambo. They're gonna pick up Bulldog, set him down. He's low, falling low there. We're gonna have the Chakram come in again, but there we go. Timber Sword just chaining away. Does not give a damn. In fact, jumps straight back in. Chakram goes down on Jarrett. Whirling Death to finish there. And down goes the Beastmaster. We've already lost Rubik as well. And S4 does not care. He's giving chase. He's just, going to throw out his Chakram once again. He's, in fact, not even auto-attacking there. EG Fear in some serious trouble. There we go. Concoction as well. Loader gets rooted, but it's a bit of a screw you as he's already dead anyway. And 3 for 1. Batrider does go down. But I think that's a very favourable trade there for S4 and the rest of the Alliance.
Obliterating that team fight. Popping off the Roar on S4 was a questionable choice. He has Plate Mail, he has Bloodstone, and he's Timber Sword with all the escapes in the universe. So in that position there, especially in conjunction with the Blinding Light, there was essentially no way for them to do enough damage to S4 to lock him down before anything could come on through, like the Timber Chains that he's been using to such great effect. So that kind of opened it up where some really, really good maneuvers, some continuous acid spray damage, a couple of stuns here and there, and they clean up a number of kills. Evil Geniuses don't really have that much. Oh, actually, there is Bulldog. I'm not even sure what Bambo's trying to do. I guess clean up this tier 1 tower up top, but certainly not accomplishing it, as they can just walk on in, not even popping up the lasso to finish them off. But
had it worked, like, that would have been worth it, but yeah. I mean, the deny, like, having it denied, like, cost his team a lot of money. Even if he died in the process, as long as he secured the kill, it would have been worthwhile for him, but as it was, got cleaned up, and it actually looks like EGM about to die horribly as well.
I think he could have just TP'd on out of there, unless Lycan got, like, 3 crits consecutively. That would have been enough for EGM to be out before the Beastmaster got involved, but, just not really working out for him. He does just stay with the juking strategy, and this time, paying for it. But yeah, as a whole, right now, Alliance just looking so strong. I mean, they cannot do anything to Timbersaw. They can't pin him down. Actually going to go on the initiation again on the Lone Druid, and he just resummoned his bear. So again, Fear not going to get too much out of this. Losing a lot of cash, losing his bear summon. Loda gets yet again the last hit, so doing a lot there. Though it does look like Napalm was stolen by Rubik.
Napalm, yeah, it's always good steals. It's serious. We see it already slowing down Loda, just going to chase after him, just being aggravating there. They will pick off a tier 2 bottom, so it is a good result there for EG. Should also mention, right now the gold chart is heavily in favour of Alliance. They really need as many of these little tower pickoffs as they can find, because it is roughly a 12k advantage there, and the experience as well not looking good for EG at all. This Illuminate spam, though, is going to force both JO and Demon to back down and leave this tower alone. Meanwhile, though, the same cannot be said for the rest of Alliance, who would quite easily pick off that tier 2 in mid with very little to stop them all. In fact, I don't think anybody was really... Actually, in fact, they tried. They just looked at Rubik and Lone Druid, and they died horribly.
Yeah, I mean, Vita's... I kind of just throw it away there. He had a death wish. He walked in. He napalmed 3 people. It's like, well, he has... This Alchemist has a Lothar's rank 2 ultimate. He has a very long-range stud, and you go in and try to napalm him. They're not going to put up with that. So they do bring down Rubik very, very quickly. They do take down the tier 2 tower as well. But as a whole, it's just kind of going that way as far as the game goes. We are seeing right now a almost 14,000 gold advantage for Alliance and a 12,000 experience. They just have such an advantage from the get-go. The lanes went very, very well. Loda got very farmed, and every team fight has gone up Alliance. Right now, if I have to say between these 2 games, what are Evil Genius's weaknesses? It seems like they're 5v5 engagements. They're not either drafting strong enough for it or executing appropriately to actually make their draft worthwhile.
Yeah, well, the first game, obviously, they had a huge 5v5 advantage, but like you mentioned, they had the wombo, just didn't combo. And this game, well, this game is not about... This one, they don't want a 5v5. They want to split push as hard as they can. They wanted to split push and take tons of early towers. They never managed to do that, though, and I think this lineup could have worked, just the level 1 Roche. It just was a really, really bad idea. As soon as it was discovered, I don't think they should have gone back for round 2. Sure, had Aki and the rest of them not actually gone in there to scatter it up, maybe they could have gotten away with it, but it was pretty damn obvious as we watched Loda's about to kill somebody here, and horribly, yeah, it's JO, he's going to die, and probably they'll even find Beaters in a second as well. Yeah, Beaters is dead as well. But that was the problem, as soon as the horn blew, the creep reached lane, Alliance just went, hang on, there's nobody in any of these lanes. Unless they're trying to 5-man jungle, they're doing Roshan. And it was pretty damn blatant. And it took, all of 2 heroes there from Alliance to stop them from doing it.
Yeah, just delayed it out, they wasted their wolves, they just wasted a lot of time, and that didn't work out for them. And yeah, the one reason I think they went for it the second, and I guess you could say even third time around, just kind of in and out and in and out, is because they committed so much in their item builds. They bought up so much regen, they got the Basilius on Demon, which hindered his jungle farm, and when they did so, they're like, okay, well, we kind of need the Roshan, and they just couldn't seal the deal, unfortunately. So lost a lot there, now losing even more. The tier 2 drops down on bottom, and they can easily go in for the counter push if they want to, but it looks like Keeper Light's going to be the only one to do so. Just goes in, he can spam out the Illuminates while the tier 3 gets shredded. The fortification is unavailable, and there's nothing EG can do. The tier 3 is already gone. Loaded, just doing so much right-click damage now that he has the 1.0 base attack time of the Chemical Rage. I also should mention that he does have AC and Basher, so huge potential with his right clicks to stun over and over and over. Jo throws out the Roar on Concoction the other direction. Bulldog looking for a lasso, but can get picked on up and dropped on down. So the racks are going to be the only thing dropped. Tier 2 does drop in mid, but it still seems like Illuminate harassment is enough, especially if AK goes for a recall now. They take their racks, and they should be able to reinforce their Tier 3 up top.
To be honest, I feel like they should have just kept gunning for it. Sure, they lost the walls, but they still had the bear up and running. I feel like they should have gone for it because the thing was, I think they didn't realize Aki was out of mana.
Actually, fight's still going on in the Dire base right here. Demon going to chew on to EGM pretty hard, but it's not enough to stop Beastmaster from getting dropped on down. Yeah, EGM is going to get finished off, though, with a couple of right clicks. So they do lose the Lina, but forcing a buyback from the Rubik and bringing down the Beastmaster as well, and then just walking away from there. They just Alliance is just such strength in the small battles and the big ones. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but to go and level 2 Necro coming out from Lycan as well, it's about to pick that up. But yeah, I mean, to go back to the start of the game, I don't think they realized that, like, Aki, like, obviously they got the first blood on EGM. Lina was dead, couldn't get back in time to stop that. And Aki, he was out of Illuminates. He had no mana left for any more. So I feel like they probably could have finished off Roshan with just the help of the Barons themselves and even rotating the heroes tanking. Because they had line of sight, like they had line of sight in 3 lanes, they could see the other 3 core heroes weren't coming to the party. It was just the 2 supports trying to stop them. Yeah. But as it was, like, I feel like the first time, like, they said, all right, the first attempt didn't work, we got chased off. They doubled down, came back for a second time, and then when it came to the third time, rather than recommitting, they said screw it, and then tried to play, you know, being 2 levels down in every lane. And I think that's where they should have just said screw it and just finish off it. Roshan had like, what, a quarter health left? They had, I feel like they just said screw it and went for it. They could have done it. And at very least then, they would have come back to the lane with level 2s. So they would have had a much better chance rather than showing up everybody's level 1. They're up against level 3 Bat Rider, Timbersaw, and freaking Loader on his Archivist. It's just no hope at all. I think they came to those lanes and just, it was over there and then. They were so far behind, it was just no chance at all. And the fact that Loader was so damn far ahead too. And again, the lineup has no ability to rotate. They haven't got people who can rotate and gank.
Well, it seems like Evil Geniuses thinks the remedy to the situation is more Necrobook, as we see rank 2 on the Lone Druid, rank 1 on Jo, rank 3 on Demon, and even a secondary 1 on Bambo. So they do have a lot of Necronomicon warriors, and they're going to go out and Loda. The Roar does pop off, and they do have detection. Going to be able to bring down Loda to great effect here. No, he is actually out of some form of detection. So now they're just going to be able to bring down Fear very quickly. Laguna to finish him off, and Jo going to get Dragon Slaved on up, and he's going to be stolen by Betas, but he gets dropped down very shortly after. They almost had Loda, but I guess one of the Necro 3, the melee Necro 3, did get cleaved on down, and from there they couldn't actually finish the job. Now GG is called as the racks are about to drop on down. Evil Geniuses do get dropped down to the lower bracket very, very early on in the cup here. It wasn't, I mean, as far as fan favorites, as far as expectations, if you were betting your rares, you probably would have more than likely seen this coming odds-wise, but Alliance do take this match away, and here we go. They take it 2-0 in a very convincing fashion. So that means they will be moving on into the winner's bracket, best of 3, which I believe, yeah, will be played tomorrow, first match of the day, and then Evil Geniuses will drop down to the lower bracket, which we will have one matchup played out a little bit later. But first, the next match coming on up we're going to be looking at Mouse Sports versus Virtus Pro, and that is scheduled, actually, yeah, it is scheduled for a full hour and 15 minutes from now, so we do have a little bit of wait time coming before that will start on up, but that's mostly based on the fact that this best of 3 ended so early. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. But Triumph, do you have any other thoughts as far as how the match played out before we go on to some music and have a bit of intermission before the next matchup?
No thoughts for that. I mean, we pretty much covered it. We had a lot of dead time towards the end, where Alliance were kind of sort of rolling all over the top of everything. So yeah, we're pretty much done. But guys, I'm looking forward to Mouse Sports versus Virtus Pro. I think this should be much closer. I noticed the community, they're pretty split on whether or not Mouse Sports or Virtus Pro are going to take this next match, and the community's actually favouring both Ghost to Bet and the Dota 2 Lounge. Both sides are just slightly favouring Virtus Pro, about 55 to 45%. So we'll see how that one turns out. Personally, my rares are all on Mouse Sports. The Mouse Sports are going to lose because of that, but still, I'm kind of hoping they can take it away. And I feel like Mouse Sports have the better chance despite the general consensus. I feel like a lot of people are looking too heavily at their most recent performances, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you examine what happened in Valencia up against Na'Vi, for example, that yes, they did have a lot of issues in their first couple games, but they show that they do have a lot of strength in this, from a certain perspective and playing against a certain playstyle in the third game against Na'Vi. And they said specifically that Na'Vi is a team that they have a harder time wrapping their heads around as far as conquering their playstyle. Alliance Virtus Pro, they feel like they've got them figured out. We'll see if Virtus Pro could throw them some curveballs, but for right now, Mouse Sports feels confident going into the matchup, and we'll have to wait and see. I think both teams are going to put up quite a show at the very least. Again, that's going to be coming on up in about an hour and 14 minutes is going to be that next matchup. Mouse Sports versus Virtus.pro, but this was quite a nice little match between Alliance and EG. A little bit one-sided, but yeah, Alliance still is kind of the best in the West right now, as they've had some issues. They have lost to EG, Mouse Sports, Kaipi, have had a few major losses in the past, but showing that they still have the strength, that calculated energy to move on forward and just dominate a game in this fashion. So really, really nice done by them here. And yeah, I'm curious to see what they have in store for us in the winners bracket finals, which will be, again, coming up at 1400 hours tomorrow, Sunday. So that's the CET time at the very least, and they're going to be going up against the winner of Mouse Sports versus Virtus.pro. Again, another best of three coming up in just over